So between the Hahtbreakah nerf and your striker gear just sitting in your stash collecting dust, this video is going to show you how to pull that gear back out, make the best and most effective build using the striker 4-set piece along with some other key equipment and weapons. Check this video out, you won't be disappointed. Hey guys, it's Graphology here, bringing you another Division 2 TU15 build. This one is using the Strikers set for recent gameplay. Strikers is still a multiplicative value on the 4-set bonus, which still makes it a pretty good contender as far as endgame content is concerned. So let's go right into it here. As you can see, I'm focusing this build without having an exotic on. Again, I like to make my builds so that you don't have to worry about RNG as much with the exotic drops. With that being said, I am going to put a disclaimer here. You can switch out the Coyote's mask with the Fox Prayers and have basically the striker knee pads on instead to get the 4-set that way. It will give you roughly about the same damage output as what you're seeing here. The only difference is that you're going to be buffing your team with the Coyote's mask buff. So if no one else in the group has Coyote's mask, if you can get the Coyote's mask, I would switch it out for this build so that you have the Coyote's mask here and the striker's knee pads here. With that being said, moving on to this build, so we're rocking 4-set striker. We're using both the backpack and the chest piece, along with the contractor's gloves and the Fox Prayers knee pads named items. So the reason you go for these two is we're actually going to be using an LMG and the weapon. I'll get to that in a minute. But the contractors gives you 10% LMG. This 8% damage to armor is multiplicative on armor targets. And then Fox Prayers gives you 8% additional damage to out of cover targets. The rifle damage doesn't really matter, but this right here is a multiplicative value, so it's very valuable in really any red build. Most of them run Fox Prayers and or contractors gloves. All right, so the reason that we're running the both the chest and the backpack here. So the chest essentially doubles the value of stacks that you can have, just like the Hahtbreakah build, okay? So it's essentially the same idea. If you have double the stacks output, you can basically get double the max multiplicative value. Now, Hahtbreakah just this past week got nerfed, so they're back to additive damage. This set is keeping the multiplicative value. So that is why I'm going back to strikers, and I'm just showing you this build so that, you know, if you were using Hahtbreakah, maybe it's time to switch back to striker. Hahtbreakah is still good, don't get me wrong. I'm saying Hahtbreakah is essentially just an alternative now to the striker build here. So the backpack, the reason I use this over, say, like Vigilance. So Vigilance is 25% additive damage, but also you can't be getting hit. And if you think about in-game raids and end-game content, you are going to be getting hit substantially. There's not a lot of times where you're not getting hit with at least 1 or 2 bullet shots when you're engaging. So with that being said, my thought process is that you're not going to have that 25% damage buff for additive damage when you're, you know, trying to take cover and avoid and still be firing at things. So with that being said, if you can get your stacks up, what the backpack does is it essentially makes it go from a 50% multiplicative value, because 100 stacks, right? So you're moving the decimal point over, so 50% to 65%. Okay, so you're getting 15% multiplicative value on your backpack slot than what you would have elsewhere. So let's think about backpack skills for a second, or talents rather. You can either get Vigilance, you can get Concussion, that's damage, but that's only on headshots. And, you know, Concussion can generally drop off if you're not using a marksman or a shotgun. And then, or excuse me, I'm thinking of Opportunistic. My apologies. Opportunistic is marksman or a shotgun. But Opportunistic, I believe, only does 10%. So I don't know if I have Opportunistic on this one. No, I don't. That's a bummer. Anyways, I'm not going to stop the recording. But opportunistic, I believe, is only 10% multiplicative value. And you need to be using a marksman or a shotgun. Now, with that being said, there is a shotgun here. We're not going to be using it as our main weapon, though. So, moving on to our weapons, this is going to be using an LMG. Preferably, you want either an RPK-74 or another high RPM, low mag LMG. And the reason is because this is essentially like an AR. It's got a similar reload speed as an AR, but you get the added bonus of stability, which in this build, the strikers, you really want the stability in hitting your shots to keep those stacks alive. Same thing goes for Hahtbreakah. The only difference really is that you're using a pulse long rail. This is not using pulse, so this is not taking into account flatline. We could technically do that with a technician variant. I'm using gunner, so you can roll flatline here. Moving back down here, so this could technically be flatline, and you could put a technician, laser pointer here. Get rid of the 5% crit, and you would essentially get 15% multiplied with flatline. All right, so you can run it either way. Gunner will give you fire rate, reload speed, and stability, along with armor on kill, whereas a technician will essentially just give you that linked laser pointer for 15% more damage output on your weapon talent, okay? You need to have an ACS. It doesn't matter the talents and everything or the rolls. The ACS will get you the stacks for your striker quickly. So essentially, you'd use your ACS at the start of battle, get up close, kill one target with the ACS, or at least fire a whole burst of bullets into them. Switch over to your LMG and then go from there. Now, the pistol does not matter. You're seeing me use a D50 here. It can be whatever the hell you want. Doesn't matter. Again, gunner, you want to make sure you're gunner, or if you're going to run the linked laser pointer, technician. All right, either of those work. You want to have a reviver hive with this build because you're squishy. You're a red build DPS essentially. You're going to be squishy. I run a defender drone with this. Now, people are going to shun me right off the bat. Defender drone, I pop this basically when I have to go cover to cover. This is not a build that you stand out in the open and you pop a shield and hey, go at it. This is a build where you take cover, you use the gunner's stability after being in cover for a moment, and you really pick everything off with the LMG, all right? This drone will essentially, you pop it every time you want to take, you have to move a certain amount of feet, and it will just give you that little buffer of extra couple shots being deflected from your enemies. Now, alternatively, you can run a decoy. That's not a problem at all. It's about the same cooldown. You can run the decoy if you want to do it like that. I would also say Riot Foam Launcher is fine. You can lock down, I think you get 2 shots with Riot Foam at a skill tier 0. So that's perfectly okay. Or you could run, say, an assault turret or a striker drone, and those also will work fine with this build. They're essentially just a little extra damage, not a lot, that's going to really matter as far as your overall output, but it will give you, say, kind of like a decoy type ability so that you can get from cover to cover. So again, this can be anything really but a Crusader shield. Use either decoy, defender drone, assault turret, striker drone, or Riot Foam launcher. Okay. Yeah, let me show you in the gun range quick what this is going to look like. So I got a named mob. I'm going to do 5 meters just because, I like to get up close. So you're going to get up close. You're going to have the drone out. Watch my stacks of striker. It's at full. I killed the mob. I'm reloading the thing. In cover, look at my damage numbers. So I'm going right up. Reload. Reload after every kill. And you should be able to get those headshots, no problem. I'm at 9 million right now. I'm hitting for about 944k a shot. Okay. All right, so you guys get the point. I'm at about 9.5 million DPS. The last thing to note on this build, and I forgot to go over it earlier, is the stat priority. This is a red build. It is a crit hit chance, crit hit damage build. So essentially what you want to do is make sure that your crit hit chance is roughly 50%. capping at 60%. I would go closer to 50% on that. So I could probably switch out one of my mods to get me a little more crit hit chance, and then dump the rest of your stats into crit damage. As far as your rerolls go, like I said, same thing. Crit hit chance, crit hit damage. That is your priority. On the weapon, if you can get damage out of cover or health damage on your attributes. Now, LMGs roll damage out of cover here, so, you know, you can roll this health damage. You can roll a crit damage. That's perfectly fine, too. Again, talent would be strained if you're running gunner, it's strained. If you're running technician with linked laser pointer, it'd be flatline, okay? All right, guys. But I hope this video, you know, helps you guys out as far as a striker build. You know, it's solid in raids. So it's viable in raids, it's viable in missions, it's viable in summit, it's viable in open world. All right. So this is just a good end game build all around. Limited survivability, but again, it's a red DPS, so you're gonna have that limited survivability. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys on my next one. All right. Peace.
Gunfire, agent, I didn't send reinforcements.
Hey guys, joined a pug run here on heroic build that I just showed you guys with the contractors, strikers, and fox prayers.
Is that Kelso?
Oh hey, I'm shooting Kelso. I just gave away our position. That's okay.
Listen, I need you to cover me while I head for the balcony. Head down to the hospital.
That was a magical experience.
Kelso all right?
It's alright. I'm gonna come back up. That's why you guys run the reviver hive. For instances like that where you go full fucking stupid. And we're gonna run. I would love this Dread Edict guy though. Reloading, throwing up the drone. You guys are seeing this, right? Like, fender drone up. Me not resin my buddy. Where is he? I don't even know where the hell he is. Oh, he's way down in the back there.
Keep them away from him! Whatever you do, don't let them into the comfort hall!
Ooh.
Serious trauma detected.
Come on now. There you go. Alright guys, you get a sense of how good damage wise this thing is, so gonna end it right there. Hope you guys enjoy. Good luck out there on the field.